This is a recap for Wednesday, December 2nd. Today we continued working on Cami, so I'm just going to do the same problems that we did and maybe a few more. We decided today to do the problems with a little bit more speed, not putting color like we did yesterday. And so this is 3/8 times -5/7, and that's -15/56. And there is no common factors between the numerators or denominators, so that can't be simplified. Changing 5½ to 11/2. This is, this is negative, one negative. So the answer is negative. Get rid of that right there. This is a positive times a positive, so it's going to be 11/2 times 7/4. That's 77/8. So that's 9 5/8. I liked on Monday how the video explained just to do, the lady in the video said just do 3 times 41 and then we'll figure out the details. So that's 123. It's one negative, so it's negative. There's one decimal, so there's one decimal. So -12.3. And let me erase my box and try it again. So as to not, there we go, it's kind of boxed in, circled. Let's do 5, times 81. And you get 405. There's 2 negatives, so the answer is positive. There's 1 decimal point, so I put 1 decimal point right there, so 40.5. I'm going to do 6 times 14, and I get 84. And there are 2 decimal places, so I have to put the decimal right there, so I have 2 places. And it's 1 negative, so that makes the product negative. And then finally 12 times 105. So I get 1,260. And there's 2 places in the decimal, so I've got 2 decimals. So 12.6, I can drop that trailing 0. It had to count in my numbers right here of 2 decimals and 2 decimals, but then after that, I can drop it. For this problem, we looked at 1½ inches and 5 straight days, and reading the problem, it said that the water was going down 1½ inches, so down made it negative. It said which value in this situation would be represented by a negative number, and it would be the -1½ inches. So we write -1½ times 5. So -3/2 times 5. And in the video on Monday, she said if you're multiplying a fraction times a whole number, make the whole number or integer a fraction over 1. So that's -15/2, which is equal to -7½, and it's -7½ inches. Alden decided to refill his pool, and he put a hose in it and left the water running for 3.5 minutes. Each minute, the level of the pool raised 8.5 inches. So we're going to do 0.8 inches times those 33.5 minutes. And I'm already thinking just 8 times 35. So that is 2 decimal points. So how much water, how much did the water level of the pool rise? It rose 2.8 inches. It's good to have it to write a sentence in your answer. It rose, 2.8 inches. And that seems about right if it's going up almost an inch, but not quite, for 3.5 minutes. So it would go up almost 3 inches, just to kind of think that one through. Our target here, let me grab the text box, is to divide real numbers. And determine the sign of the quotient. The quotient of two numbers with the same sign is positive. The quotient of two numbers with different signs is negative. And this one wasn't really worded very well. To find the quotient, as if working with positive numbers, then put the sign on the quotient. It's easy to say answer, but technically, mathematically, the answer in a division problem is a quotient. And this color here is exactly the same as it is with multiplication. So let's just I'm going to put in all the positive that I know. This is going to be positive, 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 and this is going to be negative. A negative divided by a negative is positive. A positive divided by a negative is negative. It just takes one negative, a little bit of negative, a lot, it doesn't matter how much, when you're dividing or you're multiplying, and it makes the answer, in this case the quotient, negative. 5 2/3. We had students demonstrate this, so a shout out to first period Edward S., second period Lydia Y, and third period both Jacob and Diego shared. So thank you, shout out to you guys for sharing. I really appreciate that. It was very helpful and it added something to the discussion and the class that wouldn't have been there. So really nice job. Let's see, this is negative 17/3 divided by negative 4, and we put it over 1 so that we can change this to an equivalent problem of negative 17/3 multiplied by the reciprocal, which is negative 1/4. The reciprocal, remember, is what you multiply something by to get 1. So 4 over 1 times 1 over 4, in this case negative 4 over 1 times negative 1 over 4 equals 4 over 4. Negative times a negative is a positive, and that's equal to 1. So that's what a reciprocal is. Here it is, reciprocal. And so that is 17/12, which is equal to 1 5/12. And we'll save that one for tomorrow's recap, and then we will be working on this tomorrow. So that's what we worked on, and then we watched this video. I don't have it up, but we watched the second video that was demonstrating how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Or actually just multiply and divide fractions, decimals, negative numbers. It's a really good video. We'll continue to use that as a resource. And then we worked on our Desmos division, long division. So I want to go to that before we finish this recap. So I'm going to go, we'll just do it right here. And I did this yesterday, so I think I'm going to do the next one. And so I can't make a group of 28 out of 1. Some people put an X here. Some people put an 0 here. Or some people just leave it blank. And I'm just going to leave it blank today. So the first, I can't make a group of 28 out of 12. And I'm going to guess that I could make, let's say, 4 groups of 28 out of 126. And that's 112, so that's pretty close. So I'm going to say 4. And I'm going to make that 4 better. There we go. And 112. And I'm going to double check my multiplication here. 4 times 28 is 32. That's 8. Okay, so it's 112. 6 minus 2 is 4. 2 minus 1 is 1. And then looks like I could make one more group here. I can make 5 times 28 is 140. So the answer on this one is 45. And what I want to see are all of these steps right here. You can even show this part over here, but it's optional. But what is not optional is this. This is called the algorithm. That is like a recipe. That's how we solve it. The steps that we use. The purpose of this Desmos is to show those steps, and let me show you my summary. If I click here, then I could click on any one of these and they're showing me the steps. So that's what I need to see on everybody's. And that is the recap for Wednesday, December 2nd. And again, shout out to Edward, Lydia, Jacob, and Diego. Thanks a lot. We'll see you guys later.